Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you are watching this. I am Dr. Hania, specialist dermatologist, hair restoration surgeon, and investigator in hair research. Before I start talking about my topic, the hair gene test, and if it is a new era for hair loss treatment, I would like to take you on a journey of my hairy life. I was traumatized during my childhood as I realized at the age of 4 that my hair does not grow. Short anagen was described 1991 as I had turned 22. As a teenager, I was suffering from anemia, hair loss, acne, and later on, PCOS, Graves' disease, and endometriosis. I gave birth to 2 beautiful daughters, developed pituitary adenoma, and underwent many surgeries. And on top of all of that, I have a very strong family history for androgenetic alopecia. I became even more passionate for hair loss treatment as I started my clinical studies in hair loss in 2006 during my residencies. 2008, I became investigator in hair research. 2011, I was requested to move to Middle East for research on female hair loss. Since 2015, I'm commuting between Germany and the UAE. And finally, 2019, I founded my own hair transplant academy and hair research center. Currently, I'm living and working in Hamburg, Dubai, and Kuwait. Disclaimer: the following presentation is in collaboration with my non-profit organization I help, as well as all of my scientific research in the last few years. Hair is an expression. It expresses what we are, what we will wish to be. It has message and sensuality. It has biological functions, but we ornament it, give it a social meaning. Androgenetic alopecia is the most common cause of hair loss. It is a progressive condition that affects 80% of all men, 50% of all women, and is an infrequent cause of alopecia in children, showing an upwards tendency in my clinics for the last 10 years. I usually categorize my patients in prepubertal, adolescence, female or male, and pattern or diffuse form. The classic classification of the androgenetic alopecia, you all know, is the classic Ludwig pattern, the 3-point scale, or the 5-point scale of Sinclair pattern. I usually use the Olson classification for my female and the Hamilton-Norwood scale for the male pattern hair loss. Perhaps some of you have the same experience with children who are coming for the hair loss treatment. They have strong genetic predisposition, mostly normal physical development. The hair loss is showing clinically with thinning and widening of the mid-scalp, both in girls and boys. Clinical diagnosis will be done by the pull test, trichoscopy, and if it is needed, biopsy. A blood work should be done and strict follow-ups is a must. We usually observe association with underlying clinical and metabolic syndromes, stress, diet, and etc. These patients have as well a strong genetic predisposition. It is polygenic. Not clear if male sex hormones play a role, and most of them do not have underlying hormonal abnormalities. How do I approach? A long first consultation is the most important building block for establishing a great patient-doctor relationship, followed by photography, trichoscopy, blood work, and specifically in my clinics, I do trichoscan, artificial intelligence, and trichogene test, which both belong to my investigations. It is painless, quick, and accurate, giving me a digital quantifications for the numbers of the hair, density, thickness, cumulative thickness, length and growth, as well anagen and telogen rates. I can distinguish between vellus and terminal rates, density of follicular units, or as well the percentage of grafts. One click and you can get all information of all mentioned parameters with a profound summary. Users can get access to the international top hair experts for a second opinion. This is an example. On the left side are information from the patient or from my clinical investigation. Patient is mentioning thinning hair, but she has no shedding. I see really vellus hair, intermediate hair. The diagnosis I made clinically is the type 1D. Patients showing in the blood work low ferritin and is suffering from menorrhagia, and probably she has a PCOS. On the right side, I get all the information to the hair from the photo finder. What is new at my clinic since 2019? Beside of the COVID test, it is the hair gene test. It is an innovative genetic test evaluating of potential alopecia treatments for my patients. The test will be done as a swab from the inside of the cheeks and can be performed at home or at the office. It will be shipped to the science lab, and within 3 to 6 weeks you can get all information as a report back to your office. We are analyzing 3 polymorphisms within 16 SNPs, 14.8 genetic variation analyzed on the most relevant mutation to the personalized treatments of alopecia. SNP is the substitution of, for example, a C for a G in the nucleotide sequence AACG80, thereby producing the sequence AACC80. In other words, SNP is a variation at a single position in the DNA sequence among individuals, and that is what makes us unique. Simply said, different. The SNPs are known to contribute to variation in drug response. Nowadays, we know about more than 22 million polymorphisms spanning the human gene, while 2005 we found 14 million, 2012 19 millions. And it is not all of these SNPs functional. Major challenge for the researchers is to seek out the functional one. To keep it short, the importance of SNPs is the ability to influence disease risk, drug efficacy and side effects, and probably SNPs are the most important category of genetic changes influencing common diseases. This knowledge is of great use to us because different individuals with the same disease respond differently to the same drug treatment, and some may experience adverse drug reaction, ADR. Adverse drug reactions, the 6th major cause of death in the USA, is a serious public health problem that can result in patients' discomfort, morbidity, and even mortality. This kind of gene test should select the most suitable treatments individually for our patients. With the hair gene test, we are looking for different categories related to the hair loss metabolism, and we are able to find out the association between codified genes and receptors or enzymes related to the hair loss. Let us start with the most common used drug for the hair loss, minoxidil. It is the only US FDA approved medicine for female and male pattern hair loss. Minoxidil is a prodrug. In order to work, it must be converted by an enzyme, which is the Sultan 1A1, to the active form minoxidil sulfate. But what if we don't have enough expression of Sultan 1A1 in the outer root sheet of the hair follicle? Well, it will be a lack of response to minoxidil. Next up, finasteride and dutasteride. These are both 5-alpha reductase inhibitors blocking the conversion of testosterone to DHT, the main cause of androgenetic hair loss. While finasteride is inhibiting the enzymes, isoenzymes 2 and 3, dutasteride is blocking all of 3. The 5-alpha reductase is a very complex enzyme, and once again, these drugs will not be effective if there is not enough activity of these enzymes. Biotin is widely available over the counter and is mainly used in the management of hair and nail problems. But did you know that inappropriate intake of this drug can mislead the thyroid function tests towards a false diagnosis, such as hyperthyroidism or Graves' disease? To summarize, the hair gene test is a great tool to select the right drugs for individuals according to the recommendation of the Fagron lab. I'd like to share with you some cases. This patient was rejecting the use of minoxidil because of misunderstanding how the treatment works. So she started using oral dutasteride. By the way, it is an off-label for women, for 12 months. After the tracogene test, we could find that this patient is a very well responder to minoxidil. So we started using both medication, dutasteride and minoxidil, and we could convince the patient that this combination is the right medication for hair. Now you can see the result after 1 year taking and applying of both medicine. Next is the treatment with topical minoxidil, which was worsening the condition subjectively. According to the hair gene test, we recommend patients to take dutasteride, and the response after 2 years changed totally the quality of life of our patient. This patient took minoxidil and as well dutasteride for 2 years and was very happy with the result. After making the gene test, we could see that this patient has not enough activity of the enzyme sulfan 1A1, so it was unnecessary to continue with this medicine. The result after 1 more year is still very stable and patient is very happy. Now I will share with you my clinical study evaluating the efficacy of hair loss treatment according to the hair gene test recommendation starting April 2019, and it is still ongoing. I have involved in my clinical study healthy male and female patients, including till now 77 patients, 30 European, 47 Middle Eastern. The target is 100 patients. Age range 16 to 66. All of them have history of lifestyle and family androgenetic alopecia. 8 are smokers and 59 non-smokers. Not following any crash dieting or heavy drinking. Not being a part of any study in the last 2 years. The hair loss and hair thinning started longer than 1 year. The exclusion parameters were no hair transplant within 12 months before screening, no scalp diseases, no chemotherapy for cancer in the last 6 months, and no pregnancy, as well no breastfeeding. The study includes a total of 8 visits. Females had to undergo a blood work, 2 years of monitoring, and a quality life questionnaire will be answered after 2 years of recommended treatments. Investigation tools, photo documentation, trichoscan, and trichogene test. Here I would like to share with you how many patients, how many percentage of this study is giving us the information that patients are responding to minoxidil. Till now, it is 40% of patients who are responding to minoxidil, and we believe that it is 60 to 65%. Response to only one drug. 8 patients out of 77 could show that they have a good response to minoxidil, but to nothing else. As well, we had 3% of patients who could only respond to dutasteride, and etc. There are as well response to combination of drugs. About 73% of our patients are responding from the gene test to combination therapy with minoxidil and finasteride, while it is only 6% for finasteride with spironolactone or 20% with dutasteride and spironolactone. I brought for you 2 cases. That is the first case, a 27 years patient who was on minoxidil 2% for 2 years. After she switched to 5% once a day for 1 year. She underwent multiple PRP treatments. Subjectively, she was mentioning that there is no improvement, though worsening. According to the trichogene test, we could find out that dutasteride and spironolactone are hair-specific drugs to treat hair thinning issue. He has been given Avodart 0.5 3 times a week, aldactone 100 mg a day for 30 months, and this is the result after 13 months. The next patient is a 33-year-old male with heavy oily hair. He was on minoxidil 5% twice a day. Subjectively, he was okay. But the trichogene test showed us that minoxidil is working only in a very high dosage. Additionally, dutasteride has been recommended to him. We started a treatment with minoxidil 2.5 mg orally once a day and given to him dutasteride 0.5 once a day. It was no treatment with PRP, and the result is after 15 months. Pharmacogenomics promises that drugs might one day be tailor-made for individuals and adapted to each person's own genetic makeup. Environment, diet, age, lifestyle, and state of health all can influence a person's response to medicine, but understanding an individual genetic makeup is thought to be the key to creating personalized drugs with greater efficacy and safety. What do we need more of? We need big data to decode important population differentiation patterns in human genes linked to drug response. Finally, what I would like to leave you with are a few take-home messages. Be patient with your patients. Prevention is the best treatment. Now we have an innovative hair gene tests which can give us a great opportunity for a better selective treatment. Other evaluation tools such as trichoscopy are a great benefit for our patients. We should not waste our time and patients' time and their money. Follow-ups are very important, and Personalized treatments are for sure the future of the medicine. I thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed and you have learned. You can contact me if you have any questions through my email, Instagram, and I would highly appreciate any support to my nonprofit organization I help. God bless you.